Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ramos podcast. My name is Tochiko Omiko, your host, and joining me on this episode of the Ramos podcast, we have lady or gentleman first.
Gentleman first.
We have Samson Asengwa again on the podcast. Samson was here the last time, but he's here in a different capacity. I'll tell you what he's here to talk about when we're ready to start. And for the first time ever on the podcast, Samson is, let's put our hands together for Winnie friend. How's it going?
Pretty well.
Nervous?
Not really.
Okay, we'll see. tough questions coming up.
Let's go.
So welcome to the Ramos podcast, where we bring you exciting insights and topics in the real estate markets and the real estate sector, particularly in Lagos State, Nigeria. And on today's episode, we're actually going to talk about land. That's what we're here to talk about, land. Yeah. And it's kind of interesting because if you go back to the history of Ramos Realty, Ramos himself started out as a land agent, right? And, after so many years in the luxury real estate sector, we are going back to marketing lands, right? So we've gone back to where it all started, and pretty exciting, isn't it?
Very, very exciting.
Especially since Samson is the one who is in charge of the land department. Very different from luxury real estate.
Very, very different.
Right. So that's what we're here to talk about. But guys, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, click the bell icon to be notified every time I will make a new video. And if you enjoy the podcast, please leave a comment and tell us what you think. So let's begin. I'll start with you, Winnie. Land. Lagos is running out of land. You go to the mainland, land is scarce. You come to the island, land is scarce. They're reclaiming land even from the ocean right now, from the water bodies. Yeah, so why should anybody invest in land?
Okay, so first up, I'm going to say that there are so many reasons why you should consider buying land. Land is an asset, and the value of land always appreciates. And the thing that makes purchasing of land a very great real estate investment strategy is that it never depreciates. It's always going up, irrespective of the condition of the economy. It's always going up.
True.
And another reason why you should consider buying land is for investment purpose. For investment purpose. I'm very big on investment because the opportunities are endless.
Do you own land?
Of course.
Practice what you preach. I like that.
So I'm going to take Chevron for an instance. Before now, Chevron was a village. Like before Chevron became
Before Chevron Oil Company came to that area.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's safe to say at that time, a plot of land was possibly 1 million, 2 million. And then Chevron came in and the whole place started opening up and development started to occur. And, at that time, prices increased. Started going up. So let's say, for instance, you buy a land at the time before Chevron became Chevron for 2 million. And then Chevron came and development started occurring.
So at this point, it will be worth hundreds of millions.
So let's say you sell it for 5 billion naira, you have a high return on investment, right? So I feel like that's another major reasons why you should consider buying land.
All right, so let's go to Samson here. Samson, she said something about buying land in Chevron, right?
Yeah.
But we know the property prices here, right? And I know that. Yeah, the average price of a piece of land in Chevron would be how much?
Let's say 150 million.
150 million.
Yes.
And how many people have 150 million lying around to buy? So what is the future? People that don't have these hundreds of millions, where should they buy land? Where should they invest in?
Great question. So what I tell people is you can't afford a house, right? Right now, properties are expensive because of, like Winnie said, development everywhere. And we all know that development is a key function of real estate.
Right.
Real estate development is key.
Yeah.
So where they are developing, people are running there. So right now, the best and the strategic place to run to right now is Ibeju and Epe axis.
Right.
Those places are the hottest bed for real estate investment
Any
right now.
any insights as to why?
Yes, why? Because there's a saying that find out where people are going to and buy land before they get there.
Right.
So
We'll
basically,
tweet that. Frame it on the wall.
So why I'm saying this is because if you look at Lekki today, Lekki was once swampy. It was more like a village, no development, nothing at all going around. But then, if you look at Lekki today, nobody will believe that it was once swampy.
And this was as early as the 90s.
Yeah.
Yes, and as early as that time, people were buying lands as low as 1 million naira, 500,000 naira.
Yeah.
And we know that 500,000 naira at that time was also
A lot of
Huge.
money.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
You understand? So, what we're telling people right now is development would get to Ibeju Lekki and Epe axis. Why don't you key into those areas right now? We're not saying pack your bags and move to Epe, Ibeju axis. We're not saying that. But we're saying that invest in this area. This place will fetch you money. It will give you money if you invest in these areas. Why? Because there are developments coming up. Dangote refinery is there.
Yeah.
There are schools there. Epe campus is there. So let's say you buy land for as low as 3 million naira now, and in the next few years you are planning to maybe resell or build. The land value will not be the same as now.
Right.
Take for example, Itunu City at Ibeju Lekki.
Right.
300 square meters is selling for 12 million naira. By November 1st, it will skyrocket to
21 million.
21 million.
21 million.
21
Yes,
million
21
naira.
million naira.
So
That's almost 50%.
Like,
exactly.
crazy.
So
Wow.
people who bought about a month ago,
At
they're
12
going to
million.
enjoy that return.
That is.
So that is exactly what we are saying. We're advising people key into these areas. You will definitely benefit from it.
Right. I mean, so, like you said, Dangote refinery, it's not just that. There's so much more.
So much more.
The new airport, the seaport, and all of that. So, yes, it will get to a time where people will not want to travel all the way to the mainland to want to travel out to get to the airport. So, and you know that they are trying to construct a 6-lane highway now around that axis. So, in like 30 minutes, you'll be getting to the airport. I mean, very as quick as possible. You don't have to go through all the mainland traffic,
So essentially, anyone who is buying land in those areas is not buying to live.
Yes, not buying.
You're buying sort of like hedging.
Right.
Like you're buying in anticipation of when the prices go up. So Winnie, back to you. From an investment perspective, can we have like just a couple more advantages of why you should buy in those areas? Now you've told us why you should buy land in general, but what makes those places? Because you get a lot of objections from people. People say, "Oh, it's
too
bad."
far. It's too far.
Yeah. So like, we know those places will open up, but let's say you're talking to a client now and you're getting these objections. How would you convince a client to buy land property there?
All right. First off, I feel like land is very versatile. There's a lot you can do with it, and it keeps going on and on and on. And I always encourage people to buy lands that are in close proximity with development, just like we talked about. The just approved international airport, the seaports, the Dangote refinery, all of those places are going to open up. And with time, there will be a huge workforce around that area. So there will be demand for houses, and there will be demand for all of that. So I feel like this is the best time to start getting properties around those axes and probably start developing as well.
Right.
Let me add to what Winnie said. There was a time where nobody ever liked to stay in Aja. People felt like Aja was too far. No, I can't stay in Aja.
Yeah.
But now there are a lot of people moving to Aja. People are staying in Ibeju. People are staying in
Dangote,
Hawoya,
those
those places. So if people can move there, it means that those places people will still move further than that
Definitely.
place.
Most
I
definitely.
mean, there's talk of like a new Lagos, right?
Yes.
So this is also part of that conversation of a new Lagos, because when the mainland was popping, Lekki was non-existent,
Yes.
right? Because if you look at the trajectory of development, it's mainland, VI, Oniru, Phase 1,
Yes.
Chevron, VGC Aja, Shangotedo,
Yes.
and we're
Yeah.
seeing it moving further and further.
Yes.
So essentially, the conversation is now who will be the first to tap into that, because it's just untapped
Right.
potential. So who will be the first to take advantage of that, right? So I mean, for someone who wants to buy, what are the options for them in terms of like where do they purchase?
Okay, so like I tell people, if you don't have enough to invest in Ibeju axis, you can also look at Epe axis, right? Epe is selling lands for as low as 1.5 million naira for 300 square meters. 300 square meters is a half plot of land.
So that means anybody can.
Anybody
Literally.
can buy land. Anybody can invest in land. So with 1.5 million naira, you can own a half plot in Epe. You also have for 3 million naira, for 6.9 million, depending on the locations in it.
Any locations come to mind right now?
Yes, North Forinja.
Sorry?
North Forinja.
Not Forinja.
Yes, that is
Okay.
where LASU College of Education
Yeah.
is located.
Okay.
Yes, Mokped. So I would advise people to also look at that area. Igbonla too is another particular location you can also invest in, because these places are close to where the development is. Yeah.
Okay, so in conclusion, we've had a very insightful conversation.
Right.
So in conclusion, Winnie,
Yeah.
how would you like to tie a bow on this conversation?
So I would also want to point out that you guys should be careful of the people you buy land from, because there's so many scammers,
Yeah.
So it's very advisable to buy land from a reputable company where you have they like cover everything, documentations, giving you the right documents of the land, and with that you're in safe hands. And of course, you can trust us at Ramos Acres to do that for you. It's not too late to invest. Of course, the best time to invest is yesterday, but it's not too late, so you can invest today.
Right. So I mean, I was going to bring that to something. So I mean, Ramos Acres, of course, an offshoot of Ramos Realty. So if you're looking to buy land, check out our new Instagram page,
at Ramos
Acres. It's going to come up on the screen right now, and we'll be glad to help you. Samson will be glad to help
I'll
you.
be glad to help.
Also
Winnie
be
as
glad
well.
Please send
Let's
us
help you
videos now.
put out, set us on the road to your land ownership. And that's all we have time for on this episode of the Ramos podcast. My name is Tochukwu. Thank you, Winnie.
Thank you for
And
having
thank you,
me.
Samson, for joining us. And thank you for watching and
everyone.
listening. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to be notified every time that we make a new video. And until we bring you another podcast, thank you so much.